Hello, mate. How's it going? Welcome on back to Football Therapy with me, your host, Jan. I do hope you're doing well, mate. Really do hope that. Welcome back to Chelsea News, the daily series here on the channel. Well, I reflect on what's been said about Chelsea, giving you my thoughts, feelings, and opinions. Largely, chiefly, broadly, we're going to be reacting to the deal sheet today. There's Amorim. Of course, every Tuesday, The Athletic upload the transfer deal sheet, giving you deets on Huaguan in the world of transfers. And of course, Chelsea being a big old club, we get our whole segment. We're going to get into that as well. Learn a little bit more. And of course, follow up on Xavi Simons, Florian Plettenberg, Sky Germany journalist, correspondent, talking a little bit more about Xavi Simons. So, thank you for joining me. Strap yourselves in. It's going to be a fun one, as I hope it always is with you guys here with me on Football Therapy. So, yeah, man, if you want to support the ting, please do consider liking and subscribing. I really do appreciate that. And let's get into it. Let's go. So, into the deal sheet we go. Chelsea. What happened this week? 2 outgoings were officially finalised for a significant profit. Firstly, of course, Georgi Petrovic completed a £25 million move to Bournemouth, which is pretty much doubling our money in terms of what we spent on him just a couple of seasons ago. And we got good value out of him in terms of helping us and, you know, doing well at Strasbourg, getting them into Europe, winning their player of the season. I know Chelsea isn't Strasbourg, but there is an element of they do well, we do well. And hopefully for them, vice versa. Noni Madueke's transfer to Arsenal was officially announced on Friday. The winger has gone for an initial £48.5 million, but rising to £52 million. 52 whoppers. Chelsea brought the England international from PSV a couple of years ago in the region of £29 million. So that is £23 million profit. That is a lot. So are there any further forward... Are Chelsea any further forward on other exits? Because, guys, we know we've got to do a lot of sales. They did it before when we had that insanely bloated Potter-Lampard squad. They did manage to get loads out the door, and there's plenty of time, and there's already been a few done, so sort of have a reason to trust them, but geez, there is work to be done. There are optimistic there will be more departures soon, so this is a really interesting one off the bat, guys. To start with, Chelsea have already dropped their asking price by £22 million for Christopher Nkunku, who has admirers in the Premier League, Italy, and, unsurprisingly, Germany. The Athletic reported this month that Bayern Munich have renewed their interest, that they have, of course, they had it in January. We valued him at that point at £65 million, which, by the way, is mental. We bought him for £50 million, didn't use him, and then somehow he was worth $15 more million. Fanciful from the Chelsea man, I guess. Starting point, but that figure has now been cut to €50 million, which is about £43.3 million. So yeah, £22 million reduction. To be honest, in my opinion, £43 million or just over is fair. I think that's reasonable for everyone involved for a player his quality. Chelsea will be happy if they get that deal done. Of course, we need to remind ourselves that Nkunku is on high wages. He's not on like Raheem Sterling wages, but I think he's on like 200k plus or something, which is of course predates the new regime's wage structure. João Felix, of course, is subject to talks from a large club in Portugal. Why don't they just say Benfica? Everyone else is saying Benfica. It's Benfica. And a few others from the Saudi Pro League. Man, he screams a target for the Saudi Pro League. Of course he does. But it would be such a shame, I think. I mean, he feels like he could be going to Turkey as well. I said this about... I think Turkey would be an amazing solution for Raheem Sterling. I'm not sure he'd want to go there, but... You know, Champions League football, amazing big fan bases. I wonder if he'd be... You know, and they can pay... big wages, or at least, you know, the tax is different, so you can make a lot more money. He's on a lot of money at Chelsea. But there's something about João Felix that makes me a bit sad. So Chelsea are looking to sell the 25-year-old attacker for €50 million. So Chelsea still think they can get, hella peas for Joao. The structure of the deal is likely to involve an upfront fee with more paid each year. He's with a new side. Fair enough. This is interesting. Atletico Madrid have joined Bayern Munich and one Premier League club in the race for 21-year-old defender Renato Vega. Chelsea won a minimum of 40 million euros. So yeah, that would represent huge profit. Chelsea is basically, Chelsea want to minimum treble their money on Renato Vega, which is very impressive business, you must say. Here we go. Raheem Sterling began pre-season training last week, and a Champions League club in Europe are keen to sign him. An offer of £20 million will be accepted. I bet it Ruddy will. Look, first of all, no this is big. This is big. This is huge. Huge news. Because we've all been sitting here going, what the ruddy heck? What are we gonna do about Sterling? I thought we were going to have to terminate his contract to let him go somewhere on a free so he can get the wages. But 20 million, if we get 20 million pounds, what's that? 26 million euros or something for a guy that we paid 47 million pounds for him, under Tuchel. It was Tuchel's priority target, Raheem Sterling. He was delighted with it. He kept going on about it, saying it was, my target. It was a gift from the new owners that just bought Chelsea. They wanted to keep Thomas Tuchel before things went Pete Tong. Won't get into that. And they were like, what do you want? He's like, well, I want Raheem Sterling. Here you go. Oh, you love Aubameyang, don't you, from Dortmund? Here's Aubameyang. You want a good defender? Koulibaly's been one of the best defenders in Europe for ages. And then, Cucurella is going to be... Do you mind, they just gave Tuchel loads of toys that he wanted. It didn't work out. So, Raheem Sterling, I would be very pleased if we not only just alleviate ourselves of the entirety of Raheem Sterling's £300,000 a week wages, but if we make 20 million, quid on him, wow. So a Champions League club in Europe are keen to sign him. For me, again, I defer to what I said a minute ago. It's got to be Turkey, innit? It's got to be like Fenerbahce or Galatasaray. They've made a lot of signings, haven't they? I don't know, but maybe Italy, to be fair. Maybe like a top 4 Italy team. These are the kind of clubs I feel he's going to have to take a wage reduction, or he'll earn more money in Turkey, I think, if it is indeed there, the Turkish Super League. Turkiye. I should be calling them Turkiye, shouldn't I? Do you say the Turkish Super? I mean, yeah, I know you gotta say Turkiye now. Anyway, goalkeeper Mike Penders, hold tight, scream if you want to go faster. And defender Mamadou Sarr are joining Strasbourg on season-long loans. The Mamadou Sarr thing blows my mind. We spoke about it yesterday. The Athletic revealed in April the plan for Sarr, who joined in January from Strasbourg for 14 million euros, but only joined Chelsea last month, was to return for another campaign. Fair enough. Fair enough. Maybe it was always the plan. Penders, 19, has also been earmarked and is expected to be Strasbourg's new number 1. Of course, Georgi Petrovic is gone to Bournemouth now. Chelsea wanted the duo around the squad in the Club World Cup to get some experience before sending them to France. Fair. There's also still a loan spot at Strasbourg, but it will not be going to the defender Aaron Anselmino. He has offers from Champions League clubs. No way. Outside the UK. That's wild. Meanwhile, US men's international defender Caleb Wiley's loan to Watford should be officially announced. It hasn't mentioned here, but I guess our understanding is Kendry Pies is also going on loan to Strasbourg. So, here's the big one, baby. As reported above, Chelsea have added RB Leipzig, above the Chelsea segment, there was a segment on one to watch, Xavi Simons, and Chelsea have added him to their wish list. The transfer deal sheet made it clear last week that any arrival would depend on exits. So nothing imminent yet, though conversations may continue. I mean, we have sold Noni Madueke. That was an exit, a notable exit. As has been documented in previous weeks, Manchester United's Alejandro Garnacho and Morgan Rogers are also under consideration. Yes, out of the two, I would of course prefer Morgan Rogers. Chelsea have also made a fresh inquiry about defender Jarell Hato. Good, important, dare I say, an incoming priority. And then you go and get your Xavi Simons. Nothing has progressed yet in regards to Hato, but the situation around the 19-year-old who can play on the left side of defence is ongoing. Good. Right. Players that could be leaving. Trevoh Chalabar has established himself as a first-team regular since returning on loan from Crystal Palace in January and started the Club World Cup final win. However, his situation has not changed since the first transfer deal sheet of the summer. With Chelsea open to offers, Wesley Fofana is still considered to be ahead of him in the pecking order once he returns to fitness, of course. Chalabar may... I'll tell you my thoughts on this. Chalabar may also decide on his future better served elsewhere. Of course, he's having earned his first... well-deserved first England senior cap last month. If a move comes about, it will have to suit both parties. Just on this then, yes, many of you will be in the comments going, why again Trevoh Chalabar? Yeah, it's mental. He might choose though. He might choose, I want to be England's international. I'm grateful for returning to Chelsea because if he should, he came back to Chelsea, he won 2 trophies. He did us a favour, yeah? He absolutely bailed us out after he was treated really badly, let's be honest, yeah? But it still served him well. He had a great time. He went to America. He played loads of football. He's got back in the England team. He's won a European trophy. He's a world champion. He's not going to be like, should have stayed at Palace. I know they won the FA Cup. I think he still gets a medal, maybe? I don't know. But, yeah, it was the right decision to come back to Chelsea for his sporting achievements and raising his profile. Now, guys, in theory, if I'm being a football nerd, my starting right centre-back isn't Tosin, it isn't Chalabar, it's Wesley Fofana. So, if he's fit, I'm kind of with Chelsea here on starting. That's not me saying I want to sell Chalabar. I love the footballing style and profile of Wesley Fofana. I have for years, like way before we bought him. And you can I was talking about this long ago. You can go find me saying it somewhere on YouTube. So I was delighted when we signed him. I thought we got a bargain for £69 million because they wanted over 85. They wanted like a world record fee for a defender. I just think he's that guy personally. So if we can make him and Levi Colwill work like the long term plan is, then we got the game sewn up in my opinion. Of course, it's just injuries. It's injuries. If he's fit, I think he's different gravy granules. I think he's going to be like if injuries don't screw him up, I think he's going to be seen as the best centre-back in the world at some points, which people laugh at me for, but we all have our own opinions, don't we, in football? It's a game of opinions. And if Chalabar sees that and thinks who's an amazing defender himself, he's very good, I don't want to sell him, I'd love to have him around, but if he thinks, no, I want to go and start for a Champions League club, I'm good enough, he is good enough, then thanks Chelsea, and he'll go and hopefully have an amazing career. And as an England fan, I definitely want him available for England, of course. Right, so that's the Chalabar section done. And striker Nicholas Jackson has attracted interest from teams in England, Manchester United, and Europe, and Saudi as well. That's not listed here, but that's been widely reported. Chelsea do not regard him as untouchable, and of course they'll listen to offers. Returning loanees Axel Disasi, Leslie Gachukwu, Ben Chilwell and Armando Broja are all up for sale. Chelsea want £5 million for Alfie Gilchrist. Several championship clubs are interested. Unsurprisingly, he's a good young player. This does not apply to Mark Yu, of course, who's bought from Barcelona for under £5 million, or just about. 12 months ago, Chelsea rejected offers looking to buy him. They would want to loan him in England and essentially see what they got, which is sensible. Alright, so there you go. There's your ins and outs. And a little bit more here from Florian Plettenberg on Xavi Simons. Talks between Chelsea and Xavi's camp, which also includes brother Faustino, will continue today. The goal is to reach verbal agreement. Xavi is open to the move to Chelsea. Talks with Leipzig will follow in due course in the event of a transfer. Chelsea can imagine playing with 2 number 10s. Wow. Palmer and Xavi Simons. Arsenal are only waiting in the wings. As for Bayern, he remains a topic at present. However, it will be still no progress. And then we're looking at Walter Marder as well. Stalled negotiations for the young German striker. Yeah, man. So essentially trying to get terms agreed with Siemens today, which is, big, really making. And what's really interesting, I find, is this is clearly a new mechanism of transfers where you don't even approach the club until you've agreed personal terms. It never used to be like that. It used to be tapping up. If you've spoken to a player, it was illegal. Even if you approached them and went, hey, that was it, throw the book at them. But now it's like, right, we've completely agreed personal terms. Now we'll approach the club. I mean, maybe there's like an intermediary saying, yeah, they'd consider selling him. So, I don't know why it's done a complete radical reverse. It's not even like, it's gone from being highly illegal and the one thing you don't do to just the done thing, and everyone's agreeing terms before even making an initial approach to the selling club, which kind of seems crazy to me personally. But whatever. So maybe we will agree terms with Xavi Simons today. I imagine the offices of Chelsea's sporting directors. No, I mean, we need co-sporting directors that way. There couldn't be one, could there? We need probably there's going to be a third soon. Lots and lots of just a huge body of transfer work to be done. But, if problems could be solved. The Raheem Sterling thing. If we get 20 million for Sterling, amazing. And if he gets to go to a Champions League club, great, because it's been a nightmare. It's been a nightmare for Chelsea. It's been a nightmare for Raheem. I know he was on the wane at City a little bit, but he was still like, everyone was looking at Sterling to Chelsea like, whew, consistent goal scorer in the Premier League. Scored like, I think he remains Guardiola's top goal scorer for Man City. Guardiola's Man City. I think Sterling's the top goal scorer. Not Aguero, not Haaland yet. I think it's Sterling still. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. So we were like, wow. But it's been a nightmare for everyone involved. It has been. He's earned a lot of money, of course. I hope he's loaned to Arsenal, double nightmare. Do you know what I mean? So it needs to end. He needs to go somewhere. He needs to be a footballer. And who knows? If he goes to a Champions League club in the next season, plays in a league, European League, in the Champions League, just say he scores a lot of goals. We're not, as England, we're not that heavy on the left. And he will think the current England manager is the guy who fought to sign me for Chelsea. It's an outside chance. But, Grealish isn't going to play for England, I don't think. We've got Anthony Gordon, Noni Madueke out of position on the left. So it's Rashford and Sterling will probably still think there's still a chance for the World Cup. Rashford even had a recent call-up. So, yeah, man, the nightmare could be over. Let me know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions. Please do leave them in the comment section below. Thank you for joining me, guys. Thank you, as always, for your support. Amazing support lately. So, if you do enjoy the content, drop a like. Do subscribe, because we are so close to, we are creeping up on 200k and talking about projects and developing followings. Amazing support on the second channel as well, Football Yannick, where there's also daily content. We're pushing 19,000 subscribers there. I really want to get to that 20k and beyond. So thank you for supporting both channels. I hope to see you back here soon. Enjoy the football. Peace.